Hey guys, welcome back to PHOTOSHOOT YouTube channel. My name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to be learning how to turn your living room space into a cinematic scene.
In situations like this, I always go for a 2-light setup so that I can have one as my key lights for generally the illumination of the subject, as well as one from the right hand side, as you can see in this shot, rimming hair up depending on how your room is set up. All right, so basically that's what I do every time I have a situation like this. And as my subject is stationary in the sofa, it's going to make my work a lot more easy. All right, but of course you have to always make sure that your background is also looked after properly, just as much as your subject is taken care of. So I placed in there, just like you can see in the background, a practical light, and with this practical light is just to add onto the background, giving it illumination as well as adding onto the scene itself as a light. So any light that you actually show in your shot is a practical light. So I have two. One is actually doing a lot, which is the table lamp, and the other is a candlelit one, which is sitting right there to the camera left on a table. So these ensure that the background looks visually appealing. The choice of color, talking about the outfit of my subject as well as the background, should always cohesively work together, because in my experience I've realized that yellow and blue really work hand in hand perfectly well. And so because my subject was wearing that and the background had to look that way, you notice how much colors pop out and they all stand out. Most importantly, the light positioning don't just illuminate your subject, but it also gives some contrast in the mood to the shots. I mostly go for indoor shots like this, where it's more contrasty, because it helps you to select where you want to show up in illumination better, and when you have just a broad light that's hitting almost everywhere. But this particular style that I always go for helps me to separate every subject, every object in the scene, and give them separate attention without them clashing against each other, fighting for attention. So your composition amounts to a lot, just as much as your framing also does. In this situation, my camera isn't moving at all, sitting perfectly and comfortably on a tripod, and so everything that you see in the shot right now can always be changed, and you wouldn't have anything of an issue when you are editing in post-production. I use the SL150, which illuminates the subject perfectly well, just like you're seeing. And because you're shooting indoors and the time of day was actually in the evening, we didn't have light seeping through from outside, no natural light interrupting what we're doing or interfering in the shots. So I could basically and easily manipulate the lighting and how it looks like. So with my key light, which is coming from the SL150W, once it's close to the subject, it illuminates it better. But what I realized was that because I needed a lot more contrast, I needed to draw it even closer, but sometimes I risk having the softbox peeking into the shot, so I needed to back up a little bit, which was quite of a hassle because I needed it to be as close as I could, and also because it was poking into that, I had to back up a little bit. So it was a give and take kind of situation. So still trying to achieve the contrast and separation of the subject from the background, I needed to introduce that light which is coming from the right, which is also coming from a softbox, so that it's not too harsh against the edge of my subject from the right. So that's the Ambitful FL80 coming from the right hand side, which is shooting through yet another softbox again to soften the illumination. And basically that's how I do it, because if I want to separate the subject and the objects from each other, I need to illuminate them as I go. So one light coming from the left, one from the right, hitting my subject is going to separate her from the background, which is going to be darkened. And not to leave the background hanging just like that, a practical light, or two practical lights in my case, are placed there to ensure that the overall composition and framing looks visually appealing like you're seeing right now. And basically that's how we did it. You can also try this out in your space if you have a place that looks like this, or any indoor scene. You can put in lights and can have your subject illuminated and separated from the background, and also keep the background also looking just as good. And if you love the color grading that you see in this video, I have left down there in the description below a link to the cinematic movie LUT, the base LUT you can use to get a look such as this, but ensure that your scene is lit properly for an effective application. And I've also made a video dedicated to how I apply the base LUT. So thank you very much for watching this video to the very end. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the post notification button. And also don't forget to leave a comment down there in the comment section. I'm gonna catch you next time in the next video. Have a wonderful day. See ya.